talking all about Social Security. We're going to start off with the Social Security basics to lay a good foundation. We'll then get into spousal and survivor benefits and talk through what those really mean for your situation. And then we'll go through some common pitfalls and help you avoid making a big mistake when you decide to elect for your benefit. We'll then sum it up with best practices so that you have some good confidence knowing about the program and how it can really help you in your decision-making process. So let's start off with Social Security basics. What is Social Security? Social Security is a U.S. federal program that provides financial assistance to retirees and gives them a lifetime paycheck. It also helps people that are disabled. It helps people that are survivors of deceased workers. There's other benefits that it does have, but the primary benefit of Social Security is to provide a monthly paycheck to retirees in their retirement. So it really is financial support and assistance outside of any other pension or any other savings that somebody might have. The average person spends most of their working years putting into this program, and oftentimes people ask, how is it funded? Who funds a Social Security program? Is it the government? And the answer is no, you fund the program. The average person who is working is putting 6.2% of their paycheck every single month into the program, and this is under the FICA. It's 6.2% that you put into the program, and every single person who is working and eligible is putting into that. Now let's talk about how much you get from Social Security. That is the biggest question is, well, how much am I going to get? What is my benefit going to be in retirement for Social Security? There's a complicated formula that determines your primary insurance amount. I won't bore you with that and get into that specific detail. It's a complicated, long formula that Social Security uses to decide, but I am going to give you 3 important numbers. And those numbers are 40, 35, and 40. So let's start with the first one. 40 is how you're eligible for Social Security. So the average person has to become eligible in order to actually have a benefit that they can receive in retirement. The way that you are eligible is you have to work at least 40 quarters, which equates to 10 years of full-time work history. You can earn 4 quarters per year if you're working full-time, and that is how you become eligible to even have a Social Security benefit and to be working towards getting one into retirement. So just remember, 40 is 40 quarters of working and 10 full years of work history to be able to be eligible. The second number is 35. 35 is they take your top best 35 years of work history, and that's what they use to decide what your benefit will be. So you really want to make sure that, if you have zeros in there, you can understand that those can affect it. So oftentimes people will say, well, why is this person's benefit higher than mine? It really depends on many different factors. A couple factors could be you had higher income than that person over the years. Another factor is having 0. So having zeros in your work history will definitely decrease your benefit and make your benefit, make your average smaller. So it's important to know that they take your top best 35 years of work, and that's what they decide is going to be your benefit. Now the last number is 40. Now this one is different for everybody, but this one's important to understand because it's the 40% replacement rate. So Social Security says that they aim to replace 40% of the pre-retirement income that you're receiving. So the average person that's working, they'll say, hey, at the end of your career, your Social Security paycheck should replace 40% of your income. Now, the average salary by state in 2024 is about $59,428. So if you're someone that's well into your working history and well into your career and you're making way above 6 figures, the Social Security paycheck you receive, it may or may not replace 40% of your pre-retirement income. For the average person, it might, but for you, it may not. So when you're planning for retirement, it's important to understand that your Social Security may be 10%, it may be 20%. It's different for everybody. So that number is safe to say that don't rely on that as it being a fact, because that is something that's subject to change for everyone based off their situation. So let's jump into what is full retirement age. People hear full retirement age everywhere. What is that? It's the age at which the person first becomes entitled to their full unreduced Social Security benefit. So you can take your benefit starting at age 62, but if you don't want your benefit permanently reduced, you want to wait till at least your full retirement age. Now, the full retirement age is different for everybody. It varies. It depends on the year that you were born, and it typically ranges from age 65 to 67. My full retirement age is 66 years and 6 months, and that person will have had a birthday year of 1957. Most people who are born in 1960 and later, their full retirement age is 67. So simply, it's just 67, 1960, and later. And once again, it's the full unreduced Social Security benefit amount that you can receive. So that is probably one of the most common ages that people strive to wait to take their benefit, because they want to make sure that they're receiving at least their full amount. So now let's talk about whether or not to wait until full retirement age or to take it earlier. So let's talk about some specifics here. Oftentimes people will say, I want to wait until full retirement age. So they'll wait until 66 or 67 and they can get their full amount. Some people are saying, hey, I've been putting into this program for the last 35 years. I don't want to wait another day. I want my benefit now. So the earliest you can take your benefit is age 62. Now, if you wait 62 to 63 or 63 to 64, your benefit does increase each year. So the longer that you delay, the more that your benefit will be. But also, the earlier you take your benefit, the less your benefit will be. So if you take it below full retirement age, you're going to get less. And you're going to get a very significant amount less. But oftentimes people might not want to wait that long to take it. So it really depends on your specific scenario, but it's important to know that the full retirement age benefit is the most. And if you take it below that, there will be a permanent reduction. And there's also some other things that we'll get into where you can't work as many hours, you can't earn as much income because your benefit will be reduced by how much income you earn. So just know that if you take it at age 62, you may or may not want to work because your benefit could be reduced, and it will be reduced permanently if comparing you taking it at age 67 or full retirement age. So it is a 30% reduction if you take your benefit at 62 versus 66 in 10 months or 67. So just notate that if you decide to take it early, you are giving yourself a permanent reduction. Now, some people may say, hey, I know my family history isn't very good. The average person has passed away at X age. I'd prefer to take my benefit earlier because I know I may not live long enough. That's justifiable. Or if they say, hey, I don't have any need for my Social Security paycheck. They want to take it because they don't need it, they could do that. It really depends on your unique situation, but just knowing that everyone's situation is very, very different is going to be helpful, and knowing that you get that permanent reduction is also something very important to know. So let's talk about if you decided to delay as long as you possibly could. So full retirement age, let's just use an example of 67. You don't have to take it at 67. You can wait to take it longer. So if you wait till age 70, that is the longest you can take to fully max out and get more than your maximum amount benefit would be. So if you wait till some 67 to 70, you get a permanent 32% increase from waiting those 3 extra years. So you get an 8% increase each year. So 67 to 68, you get an 8%. 68 to 69, you get an 8%. 69 to 70, 8% increase. So just know that each year you wait, you do get that increase, but if you wait the full amount, you get a 32% increase. So every person's situation is completely different, but you could either get the maximum over the maximum, or you could get a permanent reduction. It all just depends on when you decide. Let's take a look at an example of what it would look like for someone to compare getting a benefit at age 62 versus age 70. So if someone were age 62, let's say their benefit was $1,750 a month. So they decide right at age 62 when they're eligible, the amount is $1,750. Now they can wait till full retirement age, and if they do that, their benefit could be $2,500. Now let's compare that to waiting till age 70, getting 132% of their full benefit would be $3,300. So going from $1,750 to $3,300 is a very, very, very big difference. So it's very important to take a look at your statement and see what would the differences be between the major 3 age numbers, 62, full retirement age, and age 70, and weigh out the pros and cons to see how much extra income is worth it for you to wait to take your benefit. So let's take a look at an example over a lifetime at each different election age. So at age 62, if someone were to elect for their benefit, the amount that they would receive over their whole lifetime would be a little over $1 million. So $1 million they would receive for their benefit. Now at full retirement age, let's say their full retirement age is age 67, their benefit would be $1.25 million. So they would have almost $250,000 more by just waiting until full retirement age. Now let's take it one step further and see what their full lifetime amount would be if they waited until age 70. So at age 70, an extra several years, their benefit would be a little over $1.4 million. So as you can see, the longer you wait, your lifetime amount it gets more and more and more, and it's more significant. So for the average person, we want people to really think about their specific unique retirement situation, how many assets they have, when they're going to stop working, when their full, them and their partner is going to officially be done, and how much money they really need. If they're able to wait an extra couple years, it really doesn't make a big difference in the long run, and it can yield a lot more money for them long term through their whole retirement. Everyone's specific situation is very different, but it's important to weigh out the pros and cons to really get a good understanding of what would be best for me, and just knowing that if you do decide to take it early, that you do get that permanent reduction, because oftentimes people will just elect and they'll have no clue that they could have received more 1 year later, or they could have had almost double 4 or 5 years later. So in summary, I just want you to understand that your benefit is different than your neighbors. Your benefit's different than your coworkers. So go on to ssa.gov and create an account if you haven't done that already, and take a look at your benefit. It'll tell you exactly what your projected benefit should be, and it is subject to change each year, and it'll show you at full retirement age what that number is, and you can compare that number to 62, or you can compare it to 70. A lot of times people will wait just till they're 68 or 69, and they won't fully wait till 70, but you can see the increase does make a big difference. So in summary, understand what your benefit is, understand the pros and cons between waiting versus delaying, and just know that your situation is unique to you, and these benefits are here to replace a portion of your income. It is a pension that you've been putting into for many, many years, so you should be able to take full advantage of it and enjoy that benefit because you're the one that paid into it for so long.